All right, so 7.6. Vertex form, okay, of a quadratic shape. That's T. Okay. So up till now, we've been working with things in standard form, right? For standard form. Right? So a standard form, just by looking at it, all you can really tell is where the y-intercept is, right? That's your C value. And you could also say if the graph opens upwards or downwards, right? By looking at your A value, right? Then you could factor it and find the x-intercepts from there, and then get your vertex by adding them together and dividing by 2, right? But there's also a form that will actually tell you where the vertex is, okay? And that is this guy here, vertex form. It's y equals a bracket x minus, throwing another letter at you, h squared plus k. Now, I don't know why they use h and k. If you take pre-calc 20, it actually uses p and q. P and q is kind of the adult version that I grew up with, that I used to teach all the time. But whatever h and k. Now, what's cool about this is your a value is still the same. A still tells you the direction and how wide it opens, okay? This a value is the same a value regardless of what form it's in. But these points here, h and k, are your vertex. H and k are the x and y of the vertex. Yes, Sam?
Is H always X and K always Y?
Yes. Okay. Yes, the H value always corresponds to the X, and the K value always corresponds to the Y.
What about P and Q? Is it the same?
Yeah, with the P and Q formula, like, don't worry about it right now.
Yeah.
But P is instead of H, you have a P here, and instead of K, you have Q.
Yeah.
Okay. Again, it's algebra, so it could be any symbol. It doesn't even have to be a letter type. It could be a rainbow and a question mark. Right? So, for example, y equals 2 bracket x minus 3 squared plus 6. Now, so my vertex now the coordinates are going to be my h value. Now, let's explain this one. See here how in the formula there's a negative h value? What that negative symbol does in the formula is it changes the symbol or the value of your h value. So if it's negative in the formula, the actual h value would be positive. Okay?
Are there any situations where it's positive?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll show you another one here. Okay. So there's your vertex. Now, if we know the vertex, could you guys tell me the axis of symmetry?
Yeah. 3.
Right? Axis of symmetry Oh, not SA, it's A. Symmetry equals, X equals 3. Now, can you see that from back there, Dee?
Yep.
I can do that too, you don't have to lie. Well, we got it on tape now that you were lying to me. Didn't need to know one. Terrible person. Just the nicest person in the room. You're a terrible person. All right. Now let's do another example.
Can you do one with like the A, so you have to find the A value?
Yeah, we'll get to that. We're not there just quite yet, Jaden. You're running, and these guys are still crawling. Okay.
I'm walking. I'm like midpoint.
Your slope's like a Neanderthal. All right.
Still walking.
Still walking though. -3 x plus -17. So the vertex on this one, because the h value is positive here, when I write it out, my vertex is actually going to be at -7. It changes the sign. A negative, and if I put a negative into the regular formula here, a negative and a negative make a... Thank you. Oh, God.
You got kind of scared.
I was like, oh, boy. I'm going to have to stop playing videos all the time and actually teach more, I think. All right. Now, axis of symmetry for this one. X equals -7. Let's take it one step further. According to my A value, which is -3, what direction does my graph open? Upwards or downwards?
Down.
Very good. You were very confident there, Dee. I liked it. It's downwards. So is my vertex a maximum point or a minimum point on the graph?
Maximum.
Max.
Yeah,
Right.
it's like the highest point.
Right?
Oh, yeah, right.
Well, I drew that totally wrong. It should be at -7 and 17. Should be like over here. Well, that's on camera now too, that I'm terrible with my Cartesian planes. So yeah, this is a max. Make sure you can identify that stuff, because I love these questions on a test too. Love it. Can't get enough.
Just like casually flipping. Hey, what direction is the thing open on?
Well, yeah, I'll ask you that straight up. Draw a graph and tell me what direction it opens. And all you got to do is say up, and I give you a mark. And you'd be surprised how often I don't give that mark out.
Sweet.
All
What
right.
if you draw the graph going the right way?
Yeah. Well, drawing the graph you get more marks for, but then being able to describe stuff, I give you some marks too.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah. All right.
How well would you have to draw the graph?
It's called a sketch. As long as you got your points in the proper spot, I'm okay with that.
Then I could just like basically do like straight lines.
Yes.
Sweet. Yep.
All right, let's try. So that's pretty straightforward stuff, hey? All right, let's do this. Let's try a word problem.
I hate word problems.
All right, Jaden, you ready? I'm going to solve for A. I love these word problems too on the test. Love them. Okay. A soccer ball. Yeah. You got it right up too. The soccer ball is kicked from the ground.
way, this is where it gets even more harder.
Don't scare him, dude. After 2 seconds, the ball reaches its max height of 20 meters. So maximum height, what point is that on a graph?
Vertex?
Yes, it's your vertex.
Or it'd be like the Y on your vertex.
Yeah, excellent.
Very
It lands on the ground after 4 seconds. So after 4 seconds or at 4 seconds, however you want to look at it. Everyone still, is that okay? Did I go up too far? All right. Now, determine the equation for this function. Oh, that's not a question, that's just a telling you the truth. Now, we've been asked to find the equation, right? Right. We've been given the maximum. So we already know the vertex, don't we? So, would it make sense for us to use the standard form equation to solve for this? A, B, C, if we know H and K? No, of course not. Very good. Yes, we'll use the vertex equation. So, we're going to solve using okay. So with word problems, I like to draw them out. And I'll even give you a mark for drawing this thing out. It's a very simple graph. You kicked a soccer ball off the ground, it went up and came back down. Every graph in this unit looks the same. It's either going to be a U or an N, right? That's a parabola.
I think you messed those up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A U or an N. Oh yeah, sorry. Whatever. That's fine. Like I said, I'm rusty. Okay? So with this one, kick the soccer ball from the ground, it comes up, and then it lands back on the ground. Woo! It's tough stuff. So, height here, time on the bottom. It almost looks like we're graphing something moving like we did in motion in Science 10. Right? So, we know it reached a maximum height at 2 seconds, and its height was 20 meters. And we know it landed back on the ground after 4 seconds. So at 4 seconds, it does 0. Now, if you really want to go crazy, you know at 0 seconds here, it was on the ground as well. Okay, so far so good? All right, so let's plug in the H and K values. X minus 2 squared plus 20. Now with this formula, we're almost there. We just need one more piece.
Okay, what's the value for y?
We'll get to that. They don't know this yet either. Okay? But what do we got to find here on this equation?
A.
A.
Yay, we got to solve for A. Okay? This is key. It's always solving for A. You'll never be given a description of a ball flying through the air where it tells you the A value. It'll say it'll never made a pattern at negative 4.44 width or whatever like that, okay? You need to solve for this. And so to do that, you need to take an X and Y value that you have from your graph and plug it in and solve for A, okay? Does that kind of make sense? Is if we plug in a value for X and Y, the only thing left to solve for is A.
Does that value need to be inside the parabola?
It needs to be on the parabola, yes.
On the parabola.
It needs to be a point given to you,
Okay.
or that you've kind of figured out. All right? And it could be any point, except the vertex.
So that's zero, like 0, 0 over?
Absolutely. You could either substitute 0, 0 in, or 4 and 0. Okay? I would always recommend plugging 0, 0 in if it works, because they're very easy numbers to work with. Okay? Or you could use 4 and 0. I'm going to just use 4 and 0 in this example so you guys can see a few of the numbers being used. Okay? So, what that looks like then, so I'm going to use 4 and 0. So this is my X, this is my Y, right? So it's going to be 0 equals A. 4 minus 2 squared plus 20. Does that make sense, what I've done? We're all good? Make sense, Franco? Yeah? All right, the slow, non-confident head nod
Yeah.
means a lot. All right, so now we solve, okay? So we're going to solve for A. So I'm going to bring this 20 over to the other side of the equal sign, and I'm going to combine these two terms here. All right? So it's going to be negative 20 equals A. I'm not going to explain what 4 take away 2 is. Squared. So far, so good? I'm assuming everyone knows what 2 squared is. Now, real quick, you guys, what's a negative number squared?
Positive.
It's always going to be positive. What's your calculator going to say it is?
Negative.
Very good. Okay, just making sure we all remember. This is now 4A. 4 times A, so the opposite of multiplying would be, Sam, your eyebrows are furrowed quite hastily. What's up?
Okay, I did it wrong. I did 0, 0, but
You should still get.
okay, yeah,
You should still get the same numbers.
I made a dumb mistake.
0, 0 will give you the exact same.
I combined 20 and things in brackets instead of doing division stuff.
Oh, no. Yeah, bring this over first. Do the work in the brackets.
Yeah.
Because the brackets are being multiplied to A.
Yeah.
So they're not like terms. So my A value is negative 5. Okay? Does that make sense what I've done there?
Well, mine's different, see, because instead of mine is I got 10.
All right, so my A value is negative 5. So then all I do, my equation looks like this. Y equals negative 5. Bracket X minus 2 squared plus 20. Now a quick check to make sure you're on the right track-ish. If you look at your parabola here, it opens downwards, right? So what should your A value be?
Negative.
Psha! Totes, my goats it is. So I might not be totally right. I'm pretty confident I'm right on this one, by the way. But it's a nice little thing for you to reassure yourself on a test or something, right? Okay, so you know you're kind of on the right track. Questions, concerns, or thoughts about that one?
Wait, that's it? We're solving for what?
No? Solving for A. You could now, if you wanted to find the height of the ball at any time, Sam, you could put any time between 0 and 4 seconds in, and it'll give you the height of where the ball is.
Okay.
So like if you wanted to know where the ball was after 1 second, so 1A, oh, not that long. Like that, you would plug your number 1 into here, and that'll tell you what the height of the ball is. So like if you wanted to, like let's say x equals 1, you plug that in. You would then solve for that. So it'd be 1 take away 2 is -1, 1 squared is 1. -5 times 1 is -5. -5 plus 20 is 15. Okay? So yes, in physics, lots of applications to this stuff, because in grade 12 physics, you learn about projectile motion. Projectile motion. In real life launch cannon, like basketballs in the air, we'll figure out the height of the ball and stuff like that. Okay? Lots of fun stuff. Good times. Any other questions? Okay. Okay. For you guys today, that's all I have to teach you. It's not bad, hey? All right. Jaden, I will come by to you right now, but on page 418, do number 5, number 8. $11. $14, $13, $14, $15. Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 questions. That's not bad. I'm a pretty nice guy, despite what Dee says about me behind my back.
True.